one of the big questions is, which way does this plate go? Does the plate go this way with the ears down towards the bottom of the tower, or does it go this way? Okay, good morning everyone. We're down here at the pole barn. There we are. I got the sides down, the tops, I dropped them down. I usually keep them folded up. Mainly because it's been windy and rainy, and we're still in for some more rain. Okay. I've been trying to build this project without doing any modifications that are beyond the realm of the normal ham with a hacksaw, but and without having to do any real modifications to the tower sections. Now, they do sell a small section of tower that just goes on the end of a top piece of the Rohn tower for your rotor. It has a thrust bearing plate and a rotor plate, and there are no struts in between. It's just a welded up item. But they also sell the plates individually, which are clamped into place. And the installation of those is critical in order to have strength. You can't rely upon the U-clamps to give you your vertical strength, the strength required for the weight of your antenna system pushing down. So I'm going to modify this. Is a standard section of Rohn tower. I'm going to modify this to accept a rotor plate inside here, and this. All right. As I showed you, the plate here sits up against the strut, so these U-clamps, like I said, the only thing they do is keep the plate centered. You use those to help you center the plate. They sell a small section like this with a plate that's welded to the top of this, and the plate is actually welded across the top of these, across the top of the legs, and that's about it. It just mounts on the top of your tower, and your rotor will then sit in here on the top of the tower. So from the top of the rotor to here to your thrust bearing plate is just three pieces of pipe. That's it. In order to make this work for the rotor, what we're going to do is we're going to remove these struts. Like I say, this is like the piece that you would buy, and this plate would be welded on the top of it. And this would have the holes just to plug in here, and your rotor plate would sit here. So I'm just going to modify this without doing it any structural damage. So now I know that's not really true. All you got to do is take and hit this with a hammer, and you've done structural damage to it. So, you know. So what we got to do is we got to cut this strut out, and we got to leave this weld intact. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut this off right here. Well, we're going to cut it on an angle going this way as well. And we'll do the same thing for this strut over here and this strut over here. Okay, well, as you go along, you keep on finding things to do. You think you're you know, making progress, and then you find, oh God, I still have to do this. Well, we've made progress as far as mounting the plates, they call them shelves, on the tower. And then we went and dug up our thrust bearings. Now these are aluminum housings. They're actually heavy though, considering what they are. And of course, once you know, there are no holes in the plate that align itself with these thrust bearings. And they're the TBS-3, in which is actually for a 2-inch pipe. They make a TBS-4, which is for a 3-inch pipe. Don't ask me. Well, actually what they did was the nomenclature, the model number, is related to the outside diameter of the fixture here, not the inside diameter relative to the pipe. Kind of confusing, but since they only have two, a 3 and a 4, we're okay. So there were no holes in this plate that aligned itself with this thrust bearing. And this plate here is a competitor's plate. It's half as thick, or close to it. And I think it's American Tower. Let me see. Yeah, American Tower Company. And I got these on a auction on eBay. I bought maybe 3 or 4 of them. I don't know. And then I ran across these. They're twice as heavy. My God, they're twice the thickness. These are the Rohn Tower AS-25. They have new model numbers. They get R space AS-25 G. They've got newer model numbers. These are real old, but there's no hole. So we have to center this with the center of this plate. So everything is aligned. The thrust bearing center line and the rotor center line are exactly on the same plane, same vertical plane, so you don't have any stress either on the bearings in the rotor or the bearings on this thrust bearing. The more accurate you are doing this, the easier it is to align it all, and the less wear and tear you have on both the rotor and the thrust bearing. So that's it. I'm going to go for lunch. I'm getting hungry. It's 13 minutes after 12 my time, East Coast time. So we'll see in another. I think I'm just going to make this a short video on mounting shelf plates and thrust bearings. I think this is going to be the title of this video. Be a separate video. Yeah. All right. I'm going to lunch. I'm not endorsing MFJ. I'm not endorsing Rohn. I'm not endorsing Harbor Freight. It just happened that many years ago, down at the Orlando Ham Fest, which I love to go to, I'm not going to it this year, unfortunately. I decided to buy a case of these cups, and I'm down to about 4 left. And it kind of just adds to the flavor of messing around with ham radio stuff and drinking my coffee out of a MFJ cup. I'm going to lunch. Okay. Got my Yeezu hat on. Yeah, years ago when you went to Orlando to the ham conventions, you always managed to get a new hat. So I would always wear a hat that was 3 or 4 years old that looked really shabby and dirty. So they'd give me a new hat. Well, I'm running out of hats. So to my nephew, W1HAF, if you're listening, I hope you've kept those hats I gave you because they're getting hard to get. I like to wear my hats when I'm down here working on my ham stuff. Alright, so I just finished drilling out the holes in this plate. It's going to be the thrust bearing plate. And I took a pipe and I put a 2-inch piece of pipe in my vise on the workbench over there. And I slid this down over the pipe, and I aligned the pipe so it was right in line here with this centerpiece, with the center hole. And then I dropped this down over the pipe, so it took the guesswork out of this procedure here. Looking at it going like this and trying to center it. And then I took this in the tool shed, and I started to drill out these holes. I missed this. I scribed these, and prick punched them, and then started drawing them out. So I just I had 1/2-inch drill bit, up to a 1/2-inch drill bits for my drill press. Lo and behold, my brother-in-law sent me this Nico set of hole cutters, and I was going to use these when I start my next project, which is the hinge, the folding hinge for my 20-meter beam. But I had to use them now because I had to use this step drill to enlarging the holes from 1/2-inch to 5/8. So, thank you, Carl. Yeah. So, oh, by the way, Ellen says, that's my wife, she says to tell you, Carl, that I need a new lawn tractor with some attachments, something like a Kabuto. Hint, hint. Oh, God. All right, so we're going to put these bolts in and see how it looks. They all go in. Isn't that amazing? Okay, and snug these nuts up. This video is supposed to be part of my tower video, but it's just gotten out of hand, so it became a project in itself. So I'm just going to go back to the house and edit this and post it in between video 1 for tower 1 and video 2 for tower 2. Well, this is going to be posted in between there. So yeah. Now let's see how it looks on this side. Too fast. I can't see it going around that fast. Well, it's quite symmetrical. Very good. I think that's going to be perfect. Trying to get a video picture here of how this is going to go. And you can see the thrust bearing plate shelf sits right against these units here. So that takes the strain. You're not really relying on these U-clamps. So I saw an ad somewhere that you're not supposed to use these plates to for your thrust bearing. Well, you can use them for your thrust bearing. It's the same plate as they have welded to the top of this. The reason that they have them over here with the is that you're putting the weight on the top of the tower. Here, we're putting the weight on these struts. So it really doesn't make much difference. I think this is actually better because you've got more surface area here, where when you've got this plate welded to the top, all you have is this 1-inch diameter area. Here you got this, you have this whole area, here that's absorbing the weight. So the pipe will come right through here, go straight down and be right smack in line with this one. That's the key. And to have it smack in line. And of course you can, if you use a smaller pipe, you can shim the rotor opening, and you can take care of the centering with these bolts here. Will take care of centering the pipe here. So you've got plenty of places to play. The trick is to take your time and do it. Well, this whole top section now, this is just a standard section of Rohn tower, which has the 2 shelf plates mounted. And I explained why I mounted them the way I have. I haven't found a video anywhere showing this. So here it is, my 2 cents. And this piece of tower is now ready to be attached to another section, and then the hinge, and that whole assembly will get attached to that piece of tower out there. Okay, we're back out here at the pole barn. I just wanted to give you a quick overview here of what's this thrust bearing and the rotor. I installed the rotor, and how you would align it. And sorry about it being dark, but it's dark outside. And so the rotor is mounted against the the rotor plate. I didn't put in, you usually use something like 1/4-inch shims, flat washers between the bottom of the rotor and the plate, so you don't get water buildup in there and stuff. And I didn't put those in right now. I just wanted to get this secured, this rotor secured tight to the plate, so you could see this is a 2-inch piece of pipe, and you can see how it's just sitting in here nice and gently, nice and comfortably, and it's easy to move around, and you see it's easy to move around back and forth in the thrust bearing. Now what you would do is you would just tighten these screws up. You would just snug these up so they're all even, and now the pipe is secured. Alright, what I wanted to show is that when you have this aligned right, you can turn this pipe in the thrust bearing, and if this clamp just a little bit loose, you can see there's no or minimal amount of travel up and down. So that's showing that this is really quite well aligned. I was hoping to do it today, but I don't think I'm going to.
I'm just going to post this video and started another one for putting the hinges on. Well, 73s for now.